Good day, good people. Good day, good people. Welcome back to another episode of Adult Black Dad. I am your host, Marcus A. Smothers. Hey, let's have some fun. If you guys have seen the preview that I released the other day, this is a nice lead up to this series that we are about to drop. Fellas, I ask you all to pull up a seat at the table that I just created because it's time for us to talk. It's time for us to talk about some things that we don't really talk about openly. And so I want to create this so we can just have this conversation. It's called inner vows. And when I say things like inner vows, a lot of people try to figure out exactly what I mean. Inner vows are promises that we make to ourselves, whether we are trying to protect ourselves from something or to make sure we avoid something happening again. And so, let's say you get hurt by somebody, you say something like, I promise to never allow myself to get hurt like that. Or I promise to not allow myself to trust somebody like that again. We start to make all of these promises in our heart that we feel are safe spaces, but they actually become boundaries that we create, and they also become walls that we create that hinders us from moving forward in certain areas, or it may hinder us from trying new things out in life, and we become stuck because of these vows or these promises that we've made to ourselves. So I had a lot of time writing this out, and I want to share it with you guys because it's a process that I'm going through too, and that's why I'm writing a lot of it out. So for this first, we got 5 episodes that we're going to deal with this, but we're going to peel it back in different layers. So the first episode, it talks about I promise to protect my peace. And that's a lot of thing, and that's a common saying that a lot of us have where we say, I'm going to protect my peace. It sounds good in theory, but sometimes we use that as a scapegoat, or we use that as a justification to block people away, or to not allow people in, or even to not allow ourselves to deal with certain things that we may have struggled with within our past or in our present, and now it's affecting our future because we don't want these things to happen again. So let's deal with this first thing. Let's deal with these promises that we make to protect our peace. And I'm going to be very transparent because I want you to be transparent while you're listening to this, and you might have a conversation with your homeboy and like, bro, let's talk this thing through. So all of this is raw. All of this is raw. So we make promises all of the time. Some people do. Some of us, we make promises all the time. Some are based off of strength, but some of those promises we make to ourselves are because of pain that we've experienced in the past. And we say things like, man, I ain't arguing with you no more about that. Girl, I ain't arguing with you about that no more. Like, that's something we say. Or one of my favorite ones is, I'm good. Somebody asks me something and I may not want to deal with it right now, so I just like, I'm good. Or I try to fast forward through the topic and just be like, I'm good. Or we say things very strong, like I don't have to explain myself to you. Or I'm not explaining that. Well, somebody asks you how you feel. Well, I don't feel like explaining all of that. That's a barrier. It's a wall that we put up because we know if somebody sit with us long enough and we start to explain that, we go probably feel some type of way, or we gonna have to work through something that is now coming up. Or we just say, I'm done trying. And that's the thing with a lot of guys. You just get done trying. You might have to fight in an area that you don't feel like you should have to fight for. Or if you might be in a situation with custody or with your child's mother, and you have to go through all of this just to have equal or basic rights with your child, and you might just say stuff like, man, I'm done trying. Like, why is it this hard for me to try to do something or spend time with my child? Like, why do I have to go through all this? And the legal systems don't help. They make it harder for those situations when fellas are trying to do good, and it can tire us out, and it makes us say stuff like, man, I'm done trying. So, and a lot of these things, they sound like boundaries, and we say we setting up these boundaries to protect ourselves, but they're really just walls. They're walls that we have created to keep people out, or walls that we've created so we don't even get out, meaning our true selves or our identity doesn't get out. So, what happens when protecting our peace turns into isolating your heart? What happens when protecting your peace turns into now you're isolating your heart or isolating yourself? I'm telling you, these are just things that I've been thinking through, and I want us to have this conversation together. So for me, Marcus, when was there a time in your life where you said that I'm going to protect my peace, or I'm going to isolate, or I'm going to stop trying? And it made me think about after my neck surgery. You know, you all know, I had a triple fusion neck surgery back in 2000. It's very hard process. It was very hard recovery process and all. But through that process, through that healing process, my phone did not ring as much. And when I say that, I say that to say a lot of I found out that I was initiating a lot of the relationships that I was in. Like, it wasn't a lot of people checking up on me like I thought they would. There wasn't a lot of people just, hey, bro, you good? There wasn't a lot of that. And I found myself in situations where those conversations or those relationships that I was in, I was putting in a lot of effort. And so it made me come back and say, no, no, I'm not doing this. I'm fit to protect my peace. You know, I've come through this life changing or this almost surgery that could have altered my quality of life afterwards, and these people don't even have the galls to even check on me or come see me or nothing like this. Boom, wall up. And I told myself, I'm not about to be putting myself out there in these relationships no more, friendships or anything. And so what did I start to do? What we like to do, I started cutting people off. And I ain't have to necessarily cut them off. I just gave them the same thing they was giving me. Since you weren't checking on me, I'm not checking in on you. It made logical sense in my head, but what it also did was it almost made me not able to create new friendships or initiate new authentic friendships with people who really just wanted to know who I am as Marcus. Told y'all this thing is real. It's real crazy. So the results of all of that, I thought it was bringing me peace, but afterwards, I started getting heavy. I started getting heavy, and I realized it was loneliness dressed up as discipline. I was actually lonely because I wanted those relationships. I wanted people to be there, but in order to protect myself, I said I'm going to discipline myself not to fall for it again. And so when I said I was going to discipline myself not to fall for it again, I stopped letting people in. I stopped allowing authentic relationships to start building up. And when I saw people, once upon a time, I was always the first person to speak. I kind of dialed that back. If somebody was having something, I would be the main supporter. I stopped because I had disciplined myself now to not be the initiator, because when I needed the initiation for me, nobody did it. Or change that. I won't say nobody did it. The people who I thought should have been the main ones to do it, they didn't do it. And that's what hurt the most. That's what hurt the most. The people who I thought should have did it, they didn't do it. And it hurt the most. So what we start to call that is, now I'm moving different. You know, I'm moving different through the streets. I got my new discipline about myself, but I'm really disconnected. I'm now starting to be disconnected from that friendly, safe space that people could count on, to now I'm walled up and ain't nobody getting in. It's almost like, what I think it was Drake had the song "No New Friends" that had became my theme night. No new friends, not the song, but just give you something to connect it to. It was like no new friends. If you weren't holding me down while I was down, then I ain't got time to bring nobody else in, and that was the wrong place for me to be in. How we feel about this? Like this is good, because as we continue to process this, like I'm going to give you some questions, some things to think about once we go through. All right. So peace is alignment, not isolation. Peace is alignment, it's not isolation. I try to disconnect myself from every memory that hurt me. That's what I said. Everything that I recalled that hurt me through that season, I said, boom, I'm pushing it out the way. And that became avoidance. I started to avoid it, but I never really started to heal. Because just because we avoid something, it doesn't mean that we're healing from it. Marcus, just because you started to avoid those people and avoid those types of situations, it doesn't mean that you truly healed from that. You still hurt. But I keep saying, I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. That was my thing. I'm protecting my peace. But I'm not. I'm really, truly hurting on the inside because you didn't do what I thought you should have done. So I wanted to share these. How do we know what peace really looks like? So these are like 3 things that we can say that we know if we're moving in peace. All right. Peace isn't the absence of people, it's the presence of boundaries. Because boundaries tell people where your peace begins, not where your love ends. So I had to start to say, and as I started to develop new friendships, I just had to be straight with them. Like, hey, if we talk, like, I like to check in with you. I like for you to check in with me. If too many days go by without you checking in with me, I feel a certain type of way. Like if I text you or call you and you don't call me back, I feel a certain type of way. Now, am I less of a person because I'm doing that? No, it's because I'm trying to let you know, as we are establishing our friendship, I've been hurt in the past, but this is how I kind of move forward. Peace isn't avoidance, it's awareness. Avoidance says, I don't want to deal with it. Awareness says, I know what I need and I'll handle it with wisdom. I know what I need. I know I need healthy relationships or interactions, but how I go about them, I'm going to go about them through a wise way, not reckless. And the last one, peace doesn't mean silence, it means understanding. Silence can hide pain, but understanding helps you name it and move on. Silence can hide pain, but understanding helps you name it and move through it. Protecting your peace should create space for clarity, not emptiness. So, in order for me to truly be at a peace, there has to be clarity of expectations. I told y'all this was going to be a real good first episode because I want us to dig in these things and think about them. So, homework. As we think about this thing, because I'm gonna come back in probably about 2 weeks and pick it up some more, and I got some more stuff to share, even definitely about myself through this process. Think about an area in your life where you pulled away and called it peace. Ask yourself, was that peace or was it protection? Think about an area in your life where you pulled away and called it peace. Was that really peace or was that protection? Okay. And last thing, where in your life are you protecting your peace or just avoiding your pain? Where in your life are you protecting your peace or are you just avoiding your pain? Write it down and say it. This is an area of my life where I think I'm protecting my peace, but I'm avoiding my pain. Yeah. So again, as we go through protecting our peace and re-identifying our peace, true peace is not a hiding place. It's healing. I learned that I can't isolate myself and still have true peace. Because isolating myself does not allow me the opportunities to embrace the newnesses. Is that a word? The newnesses that life could offer me. And now that I've put those walls and those barriers down, I've established some real dope relationships. I've established some real dope relationships with some people prior to that I probably would have never rocked with because I had my own crazy 40-year-old mind that I was working with, and it ain't all the way right. All right. So boom, we closing on that for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. We gonna come back for episode 2 dealing with this, and I'm just give you a snippet. It's gonna be called "I Will Trust Myself Again," because sometimes through those things we start to feel a certain way about ourselves. But yo, I appreciate y'all rocking with this series again. Pull it up the table, have a seat. A Dope Black Dad. I'm your host, Marcus A. Smothers. I'll see you guys on the next time. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. We're everywhere that you find your podcast. We're here. Thank you guys. I'm out.